Okay, so you almost certainly know the name Funsik Wangdu, right? The eccentric, brilliant genius from the movie Three Idiots. But the real man who inspired that character, well, he isn't just some quirky inventor. His actual story is so much more urgent, and as we're about to see, it's a story that actually affects every single one of us.
So, let's just break it down. On one side, you've got the fiction, this beloved character who kind of lives in his own creative bubble. But then, you have the reality. Sonam Wangchuk. He's an engineer, sure, but he's also a reformer, and now an activist leading a national movement for survival. His life really plays out in three distinct acts.
His journey really kicks off with him being a reformer. He looked at a totally broken education system, one that had failed him and so many others, and he basically decided, you know what? Someone has to fix this, and it's going to be me. From there, he became an inventor. He kind of shifted his focus from fixing social systems to tackling the problems of the natural world, using really simple science to solve these massive survival challenges in one of the toughest environments on the planet. And now, while now he's been forced to become an activist, he's literally putting his life on the line to fight for the future of his homeland. So let's start at the very beginning with that first big battle, schooling the system. This is the incredible story of how someone the system itself called a failure ended up redesigning education from the ground up.
And for him, this mission was deeply personal. Back in 1975, he was that kid, the one stuck in the back of the classroom, being called stupid just because he didn't speak the language being taught. He saw so many bright kids from the mountains just get crushed by that system. So in 1988, he founded SCMOL with this totally radical idea to empower the very students that everyone else had already given up on.
And the difference is just night and day. On one side, you've got the old system, all about rote memorization, all about the exams, and it punches you for failing. Then you have the SECMO way. The entire campus is run on solar energy. It's governed by the students themselves, and the whole focus is on practical life skills. But here's the most revolutionary part. To even get into SECMO, you have to have failed your official state exams. Wingchuk set out to prove that the students were never the problem. The system was. And that brings us right to his next chapter, engineering for survival. After he took on a broken social system, he turned his brilliant mind to the natural world, using super simple physics to solve these huge, life-or-death problems. See, Ladakh is a high-altitude desert, and its biggest problem, by far, is water. The natural glaciers are melting way too fast in the summer heat, but they're frozen solid in the spring, which is exactly when farmers are desperate for water to plant their crops. His solution is just so elegant and beautiful, the ice stupa. It's basically an artificial glacier that stores up winter water and saves it for the spring. And the process itself is just genius in its simplicity. You just pipe water from a stream during the winter and spray it straight up into the freezing air. The water droplets freeze instantly and fall, building up this massive cone of ice. Now the cone's shape, that's the crucial part. It minimizes how much surface area is exposed to the sun, which means it melts really slowly, releasing water exactly when the farmers need it most. And he didn't stop with water. He saw soldiers at the border freezing in their tents and burning tons of polluting fuel just to stay warm. His solution? A solar-heated tent that creates an absolutely incredible 35 degrees Celsius temperature difference. We're talking, it could be minus 20 degrees outside, and inside the tent, it's a comfortable plus 15. All of that without burning a single drop of fuel. But this is where the story takes a much darker, much more urgent turn. This brings us to our third section, the climate fast. This is about that moment when brilliant inventions on their own are just not enough to solve the problem anymore. Which brings us to this really fundamental question. Why would a man who is celebrated all over the world for his incredible innovations feel like he has to risk his own life by fasting in the freezing cold? What kind of problem couldn't be solved with engineering? Well, the answer comes down to this term, the Sixth Schedule. It's a part of India's constitution, and it's designed to give tribal regions autonomy. For a place like Ladakh, this is everything. It would give the local people the legal power to protect their fragile mountains and glaciers from destructive industrial projects and, frankly, from unchecked corporate greed. This timeline really tells the story of a broken promise. Back in 2019, Ladakh was given a new political status, and with it came promises of ecological protection. But when those protections never showed up, Wangchuk began his 21-day climate fast.
And then, when he tried to lead a peaceful march to the capital, he wasn't met with conversation, he was met with police barricades.
So you might be wondering, why does this fight in some remote mountain region matter to the rest of us? Why should we care? Well, because it's a message, a warning, coming to all of us directly from the roof of the world.
This single quote, it says everything about his philosophy. It's a direct challenge to our world of overconsumption, it's a plea for balance, and it's an argument that the lifestyle choices we make in one part of the world have literal life or death consequences in another.
So, what's the big takeaway from his story? Well, first, that true innovation isn't about the next flashy app. It's about survival. It shows us that real courage means holding powerful people accountable for the promises they make. And maybe most important of all, that the climate crisis is not some local issue. The glaciers in the Himalayas are called the planet's third pole. If they melt, the entire world will feel it.
At the end of the day, Sonam Wangchuk's fight is for the glaciers and for the mountains. But really, it's a fight for us. It's a desperate warning from the front lines of a crisis that threatens our entire planet. And his struggle poses a question not just to a government, but to every single one of us. Are we living simply enough so that others may simply live?